You're pouring yourself a cup of coffee, and your hand trembles. Just for a second. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's age. But what if it's not? What if that tiny shake is your body's quiet way of warning you that something deeper is changing? Millions of older adults notice their hands start to shake, but very few know what it really means. Some ignore it. Others are too afraid to ask. Today, I want to show you what might actually be causing it, and how one simple test at home could help reveal what's going on inside your brain, your nerves, or your blood. This is not about fear. This is about listening before the silence becomes a scream, and it starts with your hands. It started with a cup of tea. A woman in her early 70s came into my office not long ago. Kind, sharp, and always independent. She said, "Doctor, I almost dropped my teacup this morning. My hand just shook for a second. It's silly, right?" I asked. "Has this happened before?" She paused. "A few times, when I'm nervous or tired, but I figured it's just age catching up to me." Now, maybe you've said something similar. You notice your hand trembles slightly when you reach for your coffee, or when you try to button your shirt, or when you're holding a fork and the food doesn't quite make it to your mouth as smoothly as it used to. And each time, you wave it off. "It's nothing, I'm just getting older." But what if I told you that small shake isn't always just part of aging? What if that little tremor is more like a whisper from your body, trying to get your attention? You see, we've been taught to treat these signs like background noise, a nuisance, something to live with. But here's what I've learned after years of sitting across from patients in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. When your body starts shaking, even just a little, it's not trying to annoy you. It's trying to warn you. In fact, studies show that nearly 1 in 20 older adults experience hand tremors that interfere with daily life. Yet most of those people, just like you, just like my patient, chalk it up to just aging. But aging in and of itself doesn't cause the body to shake. It slows things down, yes, it makes joints stiffer, reflexes slower. But a persistent, noticeable hand tremor, that's something different. And it deserves your attention. Now let me be clear. Not every shaky hand means something serious. Sometimes it is just temporary, stress, caffeine, or even lack of sleep. But sometimes, it's the first clue that something deeper is changing in your nervous system. And if you're not paying attention, it can creep up slowly, unnoticed, unspoken, until one day, it gets in the way of things that matter. I've had patients tell me, "I stopped knitting because I couldn't hold the needle still," or "I didn't want to sign the birthday card and my handwriting was too shaky," or even, "I avoided holding my new grandbaby. What if my hands gave out?" These aren't just inconveniences, they're little cracks in a life that was once steady. And those cracks can spread fast if we ignore the signs. That's why I'm talking to you today. Because the sooner we notice these changes, the sooner we can understand what's going on and take action before it gets worse. The real danger isn't the shake itself, it's the silence around it. When people don't talk about it, when doctors brush it off, when you start hiding it out of embarrassment or fear. Let me tell you something important. You are not weak for noticing your hands tremble. You are not broken. You are paying attention. And that might be the most powerful thing you can do for your health. This isn't about scaring you. It's about giving you back control. Before this, quiet threat turns into something louder, because what's starting in your fingertips might be echoing from something much deeper inside. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you what might really be going on, and a simple test you can do right at home right now to check for it. But first, let's understand what's really happening inside your body when your hands start to shake. So, what's really going on when your hands start to shake? To understand that, we have to take a look beneath the surface, into the amazing, delicate system that controls every single movement your body makes. Think of your body like a grand orchestra. Your brain is the conductor, standing on the podium, giving out silent instructions. Your nerves are the musicians, strings, woodwinds, percussion, each playing a part. And your muscles? They're the instruments. They move in harmony only when the signal is clear. Now imagine, one of the musicians misses a note, or a violin string is loose, or the conductor's timing is off. Even a tiny miscue can throw off the whole performance. That's what happens when your hands start to tremble. You see, your body is built on communication, signals traveling back and forth between your brain, your spinal cord, and your muscles through your nervous system. Every movement, from tying your shoes to pouring a glass of milk, relies on this silent conversation. But when something interferes with that message, a disease, a chemical imbalance, or even a medication, the signal gets garbled. The muscles don't get clear instructions, and they start to twitch, wobble, or shake. Let me give you a few common examples of what might cause that miscommunication. 1. Essential tremor, the most common, but least understood. Essential tremor is the most common cause of shaking hands in older adults, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. It's a condition where the parts of the brain that control movement, particularly the cerebellum, start to become overactive or imbalanced. We don't always know why it starts. Sometimes it runs in families, sometimes it shows up out of the blue. But here's the key. Essential tremor usually gets worse when you try to do something, like holding a cup, eating soup, or writing a letter. It's not dangerous by itself, but it can make everyday life harder. And many people don't even know they have it. 2. Parkinson's disease. A deeper signal from the brain now. Parkinson's disease is a different story. It's less common than essential tremor, but more serious. In Parkinson's, certain brain cells that produce dopamine, a chemical that helps with movement, start to die off. Without enough dopamine, the brain signals get weaker and slower. That's when you might see a resting tremor, meaning the hands shake even when you're not doing anything, like when they're sitting quietly in your lap. Often, it starts on one side. You might also notice your handwriting shrinking, your feet shuffling, or your posture stooping a bit. It's not just about the shaking. It's about the way the whole body starts to move differently. And the earlier we catch it, the better we can manage it. 3. Medications. The hidden culprits. Believe it or not, some very common medications can cause tremors as a side effect. Things like asthma inhalers, certain antidepressants, anti-seizure medications, and even some drugs for high blood pressure can overstimulate your nervous system or change your brain chemistry. That's why it's so important to review your medication list regularly, even over-the-counter supplements, and talk to your doctor about anything new you've started. 4. Thyroid issues and vitamin deficiencies. The quiet triggers. Your thyroid is a small gland in your neck, but it has a huge job, regulating your body's energy and metabolism. If it's overactive, called hyperthyroidism, your whole system speeds up. Your heart races, you feel anxious, and yes, your hands might start to shake. Similarly, low levels of vitamin B12, which helps keep your nerves healthy, can lead to tremors, numbness, and tingling in the hands or feet. The good news? Both of these are treatable, but only if we know they're there. So when your hands start to shake, it's not just about what you see on the outside. It's about what's going on inside, deep in your brain, your nerves, your blood, your body. It is like a well-tuned machine. When something starts to rattle or shake, it's not just age. It's a signal that something's out of sync. And those signals deserve to be heard. In the next section, I'll show you what can happen if we don't pay attention to these signs early, because ignoring them can quietly take away more than just your handwriting. Let's talk about what happens if this goes unchecked. If that subtle handshake and the one you noticed while sipping coffee or signing a birthday card keeps happening and you do nothing, what then? At first, it's nothing more than an inconvenience. You tell yourself, everyone's handwriting gets worse with age. You switch to typing instead. You avoid soup at restaurants. You start asking your spouse to help with buttons or zippers. But slowly, sometimes so slowly you don't even realize it, these little adjustments start to add up. And the life you used to live, it starts to shrink. One of my patients, a retired carpenter, once told me, "I built houses for 40 years, Doc, but I can't hold a screwdriver steady anymore. I haven't been back in the garage in months." Another patient, a grandmother in her late 60s, said she stopped baking cookies with her grandkids, not because she didn't want to, but because she was afraid she'd drop the mixing bowl. "I don't want them to see me like this," she whispered. "These aren't just stories about hands that shake. They're stories about confidence, slipping away, about independence, slowly eroding. When you stop doing the things that make you feel like you, life becomes smaller. And often, you don't notice it until one day you wake up and realize how much you've stopped doing. Maybe it's gardening, or writing, or playing cards with friends. Maybe you stop going to your morning walking group because you're embarrassed to carry a coffee mug. Tremors, left unchecked, can rob people not just of ability, but of identity. And the worst part? Many people suffer in silence. They don't want to be a burden. They don't want to overreact. They think it's just part of getting older, I'll manage. But you don't have to just manage. You deserve to understand what's going on, and more importantly, you deserve a chance to do something about it. Because here's the hard truth. Some causes of hand tremors, if ignored, don't just stay the same. They get worse. Parkinson's disease, for example, starts quietly, a tremor in one hand, a little slowness getting dressed. But if it's not caught early and supported properly, it can lead to difficulty walking, speaking, even swallowing. And essential tremor, while not life-threatening, can still progress to the point where writing, eating, or drinking becomes frustrating, even dangerous, but that doesn't have to be your story. There's something powerful about catching this early, about listening to your body's warnings before they become limitations. That's why this conversation matters so much, because I've seen what happens when people speak up early. They get help, they get treatment, they get peace of mind, and most importantly, they hold on to the parts of their life that matter most. So if your hands have started to shake, even just once or twice, I want you to take it seriously. Not with fear, not with shame, but with awareness, with curiosity, with the strength to say, I want to know what's going on. Because doing nothing may feel easier in the moment, but doing something gives you the chance to stay in control, stay independent, and stay you. In just a moment, I'm going to walk you through a simple test, something you can do right now at home that might help reveal what's really behind the tremors. It only takes a minute. But first, take a breath. Because even if you have been ignoring the signs, you're here now. You're learning. And that means you're already taking the first step. Let's take a moment now to do something together. Right here, right now. No doctors, appointment, no blood work, no machines. Just you, your hands, and a little bit of self-awareness. I call this the hand stretch test. A simple, safe check you can do at home that might reveal more than you think. But before we begin, I want to say this clearly. This is not a diagnosis, it's a window, a glimpse into how your body's working today. And for many of my patients, it's the first moment they truly realize something's not quite right. So if you're comfortable, let's try it together. Go ahead and sit in a sturdy chair. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor and your back is supported. Now, when you're ready, stretch your arms straight out in front of you, palms down, fingers open like you're telling someone to stop. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Now hold that position for 10 to 15 seconds. Just watch your hands. What do you see? Are your hands completely still? Are your fingers slightly twitching or trembling? Is one hand moving more than the other? Do the tremors get stronger the longer you hold them up? Take note, not just of the movement, but how it makes you feel. Do your arms feel weak? Does it tire you out quickly? Is there tension in your shoulders or neck? What you just did may seem simple, but it's powerful, because those few seconds can offer real clues. Let's talk about what those clues might mean. If your hands were steady at first, but began to tremble the longer you held them out, that may point toward essential tremor, the most common type we see in older adults. Essential tremor usually shows up when you're doing something active, like reaching, writing, eating, and tends to run in families. It's not dangerous, but it can get worse over time if ignored. If your hands were shaking even at rest, maybe even before you raised them, or if the shaking happened more on one side, that could be a sign of Parkinson's disease, especially if it comes with other symptoms like stiffness, a shuffling walk, or slowness when moving. But maybe what you felt wasn't a tremor at all. Maybe your arms felt heavy, weak, or you noticed tingling in your fingers. Those could be signs of something else entirely, like a pinched nerve, low B12 levels, or even a thyroid issue. That's the thing about our bodies. The clues don't always come in flashing lights. Sometimes they show up in soft, quiet ways, like a twitch, a tremble, or a feeling of weakness you can't quite explain. And let me say this again, because it's important. There is no pass or fail here. This isn't a test to scare. It's a way to listen to your body with curiosity and compassion. So if you noticed something today, even something small, write it down. Describe what you saw, what you felt, when it started, and bring it with you the next time you talk to your doctor. Because what you did just now, that was brave. It takes courage to stop and really see yourself, to admit that something might be changing, and that you care enough to do something about it. Most people never take that step. They ignore the signs, brush them off, pretend it's nothing. But you showed up. You paid attention, and that matters more than you know. So whether your hands were steady, or shaky, strong, or tired, you're now one step closer to understanding what your body's been trying to tell you. In just a moment, I'll show you the next steps, the recovery path that's helped many of my patients regain control, confidence, and peace of mind. But before we go there, give yourself a moment. You did something important today. Let's build on it, together. Now that you've taken the time to notice, to observe your hands, to truly listen to what your body might be saying, let's talk about what comes next. Because even though this journey can feel uncertain, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not powerless. There are real practical steps you can take, starting today, to better understand what's causing the shaking, and more importantly, to start reclaiming your confidence. Let's walk through 5 things you can do, right now, to take back control. 1. Talk to your doctor and ask the right questions. I know it sounds simple, but too often people wait until things get bad enough before saying anything. If you notice shaking in your home test, or even if you've just had a hunch something's off, bring it up, clearly, directly. Say, "My hands have started shaking. I did a test at home. Can we talk about what might be causing it?" Don't worry about sounding dramatic. You're advocating for yourself, and that matters. A good doctor will take you seriously. They may run tests, ask about your family history, review your medications, or check your neurological function. This one step can open the door to real answers. 2. Review your medications, even the over-the-counter ones. Many people don't realize that common prescriptions, and even vitamins or herbal supplements, can affect your nervous system. Bring a full list of everything you take to your next appointment. Include the small stuff: allergy meds, sleep aids, supplements, even energy drinks or caffeine habits. Your doctor can look for interactions or side effects that might be contributing to the tremor. And sometimes, a simple adjustment, lowering a dose, switching medications, can reduce or even stop the shaking. 3. Try targeted hand and finger exercises. Just like any muscle, your hands respond to consistent, gentle use. Simple daily exercises, like squeezing a soft ball, tracing letters in the air, or tapping your fingers to your thumb in rhythm, can help maintain strength and coordination. Occupational therapists often teach these routines to help people with essential tremor or early Parkinson's maintain their independence. Think of it like brushing your teeth, a small habit, repeated daily, that helps keep things from getting worse. It's not about perfection. It's about staying engaged with your body. 4. Watch for patterns. Keep a tremor journal. What time of day? Does the shaking happen? Does it get worse when you're stressed, after caffeine, when you're tired? Keep a small notebook or use the Notes app on your phone. Each day, jot down what you notice, even just a sentence or two. Over time, patterns may emerge. And those patterns can be very helpful for your doctor in understanding the cause and finding the right treatment. Knowledge is power, and this kind of self-awareness is a powerful tool. 5. Don't face it alone. Build a circle of support. I've seen it again and again. People hide their tremors out of shame or fear. They pull back from friends, avoid activities, stop asking for help. But the truth is, you don't have to carry this alone. Talk to a loved one, a friend, a neighbor. Let someone know what's going on. There are also support groups, both in person and online, full of people going through the same thing. They share tips, encouragement, even a few laughs. Connection is medicine too. And remember, no matter the cause, early action makes a difference. Essential tremor can be managed. Parkinson's has treatments that are most effective when started early. Medication side effects can be reversed. Nutritional deficiencies can be corrected, but only if we act. So here's my message to you. Don't wait for the tremor to take something away from you. Don't wait for your world to shrink. You have the power to get ahead of this. Starting with the awareness you have right now. Take that next step. Make the call. Do the exercises. Ask the questions. Stay curious about your own health, because your hands are not just tools. They hold the story of your life, the meals you've cooked, the letters you've written, the hands you've held. Let's keep them steady, for all the things still ahead. You're not alone, and you're not done yet. Your hands tell a story of everything you've held, built, cared for, and reached toward. If they've begun to shake, it's not just about getting older. It's your body asking you to listen. Don't ignore that whisper. Don't wait for things to get worse. You've already taken the first step. By learning, by paying attention, by caring. Talk to your doctor. Ask the hard questions. Try the exercises. Notice the patterns, because staying strong and independent doesn't start in the gym. It starts with awareness, with action, with hope. And remember, even if your hands are shaking, you're still in control of the story they tell. Next.